I came across this article on The Verge recently. Will Apple discuss its MacBook keyboard problems at WWDC? WWDC is some Apple event that I don't really follow, but apparently they go over things like their new innovations, new products, new ideas, and so on and so forth. So it seems like a reasonable question to ask, will Apple go over the fact that they have this issue where their keyboards on their $2,300 machines will fail for no reason? Casey Neistat has tweeted about it. Lots of Mac users are aggravated with it. You can find it in forums all over the internet. It's a clear problem. And recently they have gotten sued for it. Whoops, that's the wrong lawsuit. Recently they've gotten sued. Recently they have gotten sued for it. They get sued so often for faulty products, it's hard to keep track of it in my browser tabs. So Gerard Gibbs LLP put up this class action lawsuit, which I will link to below, where they're going over the defect in design and why it is people should be compensated for it. Now, this article does pose the fair question, what is Apple going to do about it? And are they going to address this large problem at their next upcoming presentation, where you would expect them to talk about their problems? My belief is no. I'm going to present the evidence as to why I believe they're not going to address it in any way, even in the form of a discounted warranty, based on the trajectory that Apple's been taking with their extended warranties and recall programs over time. Now, even The Verge seems to be coming around to the fact that Apple is not going to admit any fault with their own products, and I'll read it from their paragraph here. On the one hand, it's extremely unlike Apple to ever admit that its products are flawed in any way. So even if the company does address the keyboard issue, it likely would be in the form of some sort of illusion that they've updated the keyboards to be even sturdier and more reliable than ever before, or something similar, instead of outright acknowledging that there's a problem with the old model. And if the company does offer some extended warranty program for the old problematic models, it would probably do so quietly off stage. Let's talk a little bit about that, and let's talk a little bit about the history with Apple and their extended warranty programs. One of my personal favorites goes back to the 15-inch 2010 Macbook with intermittent black screen or loss of video. This is an issue that I cover on my channel extensively if you search for the term C9560. It's a capacitor that's the wrong size capacitor that fails on a regular basis for the GPU buck converter circuit for the frame buffer. There is some interesting language in here because it seems like they were actually helping people when they were not. So this computer came out in 2010. This warranty service program was announced in 2013. So that's 3 years. Now, Apple will service affected 15-inch MacBook Pro computers free of charge until 3 years from date of purchase. Keep in mind, Apple will service affected machines free until 3 years from the date of purchase. The warranty program came out in 2013 for a 2010 model. Now, if you do the math there, the overlap is such that you had to have bought your product at the end of 2010 to actually make use of this program, and even if you did buy it at the end of 2010, but you missed it or you didn't realize that this program was quietly announced, and by quietly announced, I mean a link that showed up in Apple support section that they never really published or PR'd or alerted people of or emailed people about, you were screwed. If you were one of the early adopters of this machine and you bought it earlier in 2010 because you were a serious Apple fan, you were screwed. Then we move on to 2011, and it got a little bit worse than that. In 2011, they did not release a warranty program until they were sued. So they thought, okay, we've released another machine with clearly failing GPUs. Nope, 3 years have passed. We're not helping any of you. By the beginning of 2014, it was very obvious to any repair store or anybody who works at an Apple store, if you were inundated with lines of people with the green Apple that was broken up as it was booting, that there were problems with this machine. Apple did nothing. So this is taking one step further into the realm of, no, we're not releasing an extended warranty program. So there was a class action lawsuit, and about 5-6 months after that class action lawsuit was announced, they wound up releasing another extended warranty program. And this extended warranty program was one where they actually fixed things. But it did take 4 years after the computer was released for this to come out. So if you do the timing there and you look at the machine that they're talking about here, this is the 2016 MacBook Pro pictured, and this came out around November or December of 2016, you're looking at 4 years. You're going to have to wait until Trump gets reelected just to get an extended warranty program for this machine, if that's the timeline that they're following. But I don't even think that's what's going to happen here. I think that it's not going to happen at all. If you move even further in time into 2014, you can look at something like the iPhone 6. So the iPhone 6 had something called touch disease. You can go over my last video on the iPhone 6 to see that. You can view this article on Motherboard Advice. Jason did a very good job covering this issue, and you can see even Apple knew from their own internal documents it was more likely to bend, and they still didn't budge. That phone has been out for about 3.5 years now, and the best that they're doing is saying that we will fix it for you for $149. And by fix it, they're not actually going to desolder the chip, put an M1 jumper there, reball it, underfill it, etc. They're going to take a motherboard from another phone that was traded into Apple, likely because it had a cracked screen, likely meaning it was bent, likely meaning the board was damaged, and they're going to put that into your phone, give it a 3-month warranty, and give you the middle finger on day 91 when it fails again. This is a trajectory Apple's taking where they're saying, you know what? No, we don't care if users report that there's a mass issue like in 2010. We don't even care if we get sued like what happened in 2011. We're not dealing with this anymore. No, we're not covering you. We're going to fight this in court, and we're going to win. And apparently, they have fought so well in court that there is still no replacement program for the iPhone 6 Plus with Touch IC issues, when their own internal documentation shows it's more likely to bend, when it's very clear that this is a widespread issue that specifically affects the 6 Plus at a disproportionate rate to every other iPhone. They're saying, no, we think we're going to win in court, and so far they've proven that they are going to win in court because this program is still here. They're still charging people $149 to give them a refurbished board in their phone with a 3-month warranty on a phone that has a resale value now of about $250. It's my belief that Apple is not going to announce or discuss their keyboard problems at WWDC, and I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. If Apple releases an extended warranty program where they fix keyboard issues for free in these model machines at WWDC, I will remove my YouTube channel. Apple tried 2 years ago to get me to take down some videos that I did because they didn't like the fact that there was a portion of the schematic that shows you where the fuse is. I said I would delete it, but only if you filed a DMCA claim. And they never followed through with this. It's obvious how bad the PR would be on that when your company that likes to brag that your vice president of environment, who wins an environmental achievement award for greening your supply chain, is caught trying to remove videos by force from the internet because somebody is showing their users how to replace a fuse. It's very obvious that they chose to go for what looked better because they liked to be able to virtue signal about their green supply chain, when in reality they'd like you to replace everything with a new one rather than fix what you own, because they don't care about being green. They care about your green, and your green leaving your wallet and going to theirs. I'm going to give Apple a really good opportunity for PR here. Not only would they be able to show all their users that all these people talking about their repair policies and their durability and how they support their customers are wrong, but they would be able to remove a source of so much lost income for them in the form of people being able to make their devices work again rather than buy a new one. And they'd be able to look good doing it. If Apple releases an extended warranty repair program without any BS, without any of this, oh yeah, the machine's 2 years old and we're only going to cover it 2 years after the date of purchase nonsense, where they actually fix the problem with the keyboard for free, I will delete my YouTube channel. I'm willing to bet that much on it that they are not going to do anything. But let me know what you think. Do you think Apple's going to address their keyboard problems at WWDC? Do you think they're going to ignore it entirely? Do you think that they're going to cover it, but they're going to say, okay, instead of charging you $500 to $800 to fix it, we'll only charge you $100 at $200? Do you think they'll actually come out and say, hey, we made a mistake, but we're going to fix it by replacing everybody's keyboards for free if you have this issue? What do you think they're going to do? How do you think they're going to handle this issue into the future? And how do you think it's going to affect sales of their products? Personally, I think this is a turning point where Apple has put too much frustration into a single package. The GPU issue was an issue where, okay, the machine worked for 3 to 4 years, but then it would start crashing. But whatever, it was powerful and blah, blah, blah. The iPhone 6, okay, you own it for a few years, it bends a little bit, but it was a really slim phone and it worked really nice when it worked. But this is a computer that's caused a lot of people a lot of frustration for many different reasons. Keep in mind that if you owned an iPhone, you had to spend $79 on a dongle to attach your new iPhone to your new $2,300 machine. That's frustrating. You remove the SD card slot. That's frustrating. You remove the magnetic charger. That is frustrating. You removed USB ports and HDMI ports and DisplayPort. That is very frustrating. And you have tied the computer to a $79 dongle so that you can't even buy a $30 or $40 knockoff dongle like you can with any other PC on the market so that it works. They've put a lot of frustration into one device. And they also decided to put a new keyboard format that a lot of people don't really like because it's loud and more weird to type on. So usually Apple packs frustration into small pieces. We're going to remove the FireWire port. Whatever. We're going to remove the optical drive. Okay, whatever. We're going to remove the headphone jack. Whatever. But here, they've removed all your ports. They removed your SD card slot, they put in a more annoying keyboard, and to top it off, the keyboard's going to fail. That's a little bit too much frustration for one generation, in my opinion, and if they don't wind up writing this, I think this is going to be the turning point where they start to lose the inertia and get people to go, you know what, man, I hated viruses, man, and Windows Vista was, that was some crap, but man, is Windows Defender really that bad nowadays? Is it really that easy to get a virus in Windows? Adobe Creative Suite works in Windows, doesn't it, right? Yeah, I think it does. Man, I can use Adobe Creative Suite in Windows, can I? Oh, no, most of my apps are on the cloud now. So, man, do I really need Mac OS? Oh man, it integrates. It's so nice. It's so nice how it integrates. But yeah, like I gotta. Oh, I mean, it used to integrate so nicely, but now I gotta use a $79 dongle to attach my phone. Man, oh, I mean, if I get an Android, I can just drag and drop my files onto it using a $2 USB cable with no dongle. You're going to get people thinking about this stuff, and they're going to realize my Adobe Creative Suite already can work on another OS. Man, viruses, they're not really that much of an issue anymore. It's kind of hard to get a virus on Windows now compared to XP. Kind of runs fast. I know it's dirty. It's Microsoft. It's ew. And trust me, I'm no fan of Microsoft by any means, but Apple's really given people reasons to switch. They've put far too many flaws into one machine. They used to put one fatal flaw into a machine, not like 4 or 5. They've put just enough fatal flaws to piss people off to the point where if they don't address it, which I think they won't, but if they don't address it, they're going to start seriously losing customers. What do you think?